Everyone, this is Blackhawk SC, and in this video I'll be taking a comprehensive look at the Sun Spider, which was released last month. A special thanks to the longtime viewer who donated the complete Sun Spider pack and made this video possible. If you've been following my channel, you may have seen my Sun Spider Vanguard video from last month. At that time, the mech was suffering from some serious hitbox issues, where the STs are much bigger than they should be. I anticipated at that time that PGI was going to fix the hitboxes, so I wanted to delay the full review to give you guys an accurate look at the long-term viability of the mech. By the way, this video will skip over the Vanguard, and I'll link you to that variance video in the description. The Sun Spider's got a lot going for it. After all, PGI has no incentive to gimp its own design. With close to max armor, the mech has about the same free tonnage as a Timberwolf or Ebonjag. In fact, among mechs that move at the 81 kph clan heavy standard, the Sun Spider has the most pod space of them all by nearly a ton. The difference may not seem like much, but it makes certain builds possible on the Sun Spider that aren't as good when used on other chassis. The weapon mounts are also not bad, with some mounted high up on the arms and other at waist level. The various Omni Pause allow build variety with ballistics, lasers, brawl, and LRM ATM based builds to be decent, if not outright good. The ECM from the D left torso as well as the new ST hitboxes means that it's defensively as strong as the Hellbringer. You'll find that now most but not an excessive amount of frontal damage will go to the CT, and torso twisting is a legitimate way of spreading damage instead of leading to a quicker death like 1 month ago. There are a few elements that keep the mech from being too strong. With Clan Laser Vomit being pretty good in QP these days, the Sun Spider doesn't have enough hardpoints for a quality Laser Vomit build. The available slot configuration is also problematic. Compared with its two closest competitors, the Timberwolf and Ebonjag, all three chassis have 33 free slots, but 2 of the Sun Spider's free slots are in the right and left legs. Since you can neither put weapons nor heatsinks in the single leg slot, they're much less useful than the torso slots found in the other 2 heavies for energy-based builds in particular. Lastly, the most sought after Omni Pause are either temporarily or permanently behind the paywall. The DECM Omni Pause will be available after a few months, but for the time being, most ranged builds can be made a little bit better with the ECM. The 2 high-mounted ARM energy hardpoints are only available with the Manoel Hero, and energy-heavy builds are simply not the same with at least one of the 2 arms. I'm sure there are some concerns about whether the SNS is played to win, and I think it's definitely not. PGI did a good job of balancing the mech without making it either bad or too strong. In every specific role, I think the Sun Spider has at least an equal, if not better, alternative in the existing C-build chassis. For ballistics, the Nightgear sacrifices speed and ECM for more weapons and JJs, making them roughly equivalent when it comes to random QP maps and teams. The Hellbringer and Ebonjag are better laser bows without question. For brawling, the linebacker is tankier and faster while carrying about as much firepower. The Summoner is a better PPC sniper, and the HBR is a better laser sniper. On the other hand, there is no role where the Sun Spider is terribly unsuited for, like the Ebonjag is with brawling. For Clan Omnis, I always first try to make builds with the stock Omni Pause when possible to take advantage of the full set bonuses. In the Sun Spider's case though, none of the bonuses are worth it, but there are a couple of variants on which you can run decent builds with stock Omni Pods. The D variant is capable of running dual UAC 5s and UAC 10 with ECM. I think this competes for being the best clan-heavy ballistic mech in the game. The Timber, Ebonjag, Nova Cat, and Nightgear all can run serious ballistic builds, but each of them lack ECM and have some other disadvantage like speed or lower DPS. The EBJ Hero comes closest, but it's slightly short on ammo, which is where the Sun Spider's extra ton of pod space comes in. I'll be demoing this build later on because I think it's easily the most unique one on the Sun Spider. If you're running this build, I recommend getting both magazine capacity skills and putting a little on cooldown and heat gen. Max out durability. Get some heat management and get all the ECM nodes. The A variant can run either triple UAC 5s or quad UAC 2s with ERMLs as shown here. If you have spare Manoel ARM Omni Pause, you can stack the lasers on a single side. You can also do the same SNS D 5 and 10 build without the ECM. I know a lot of people like UAC 2s, but having only 4 of them, it doesn't have the alpha or DPS that's favored in mid-range combat that you often see in QP. However, more often than not, the triple 5s are going to be better in QP, but it's too similar to the D build for me to run it personally. And when you get a long-range standoff like on Grimplex's Domination Assault, it's really fun to play when you can shake the enemy's cockpit non-stop from 1,000 meters away. The Manoel Hero, as I said earlier, can't do a proper laser vomit build, but it can boat LPLs high up on those arms with just enough DHS to keep them cool. The ECM Omni Pause will make it better, but it's not absolutely necessary if you play at range. ERPPCs are also possible, but I would limit it to just 3 at most. Both the C and Prime variants can do either ATMs or LRMs, but going with stock Omnipods, the Prime can also carry a tag laser, which I think is absolutely necessary. Unfortunately, an SRM boat would be left with too much tonnage left over, and you just leave that to the Mad Dog and Linebacker. Mixing up the Omni Pause, we get to our first real Brawl build with dual LB10s and quad SRM4s. I talked about this build earlier in my Vanguard video, but this is a much more viable choice than it was a month ago. It's still not the most durable mech, so it will have to rely on its high DPS to take down enemies quickly, and its speed to position well and find good attack angles. It's not a playstyle that I really recommend for the SNS because I think the chassis is much more suited for mid and long range combat, but it's not that bad. The Goss Laser builds brings us back to mid range, and a lot of options are available here. You can do the ER large ER meat combo, full ERMLs or LPLs and ERMLs. You also have the option of dropping a laser for an ECM, which I demoed earlier. If you ran dual LPLs or ER larges on the right arm, that'll allow for a relatively low heat 37 to 39 point right side peak when used in conjunction with the Gauss rifle. Sometimes you just don't want to expose your entire torso to get those ERMLs out, so that option is really nice. Well, that's all the builds that I'll be talking about in this video. The Sunspider is such a versatile mech that it can run a lot more. But let's go see some gameplay first in the DACA D variant. In this match we're on River City. River City is a pretty decent map for this mech because it's very mid-rangey to short range. So we're trying to take advantage of the building here and peek out just the right side. And if you recall, the build is all right oriented, so if we simply side peek with the right half of our mech, we can get all of our firepower out. There's a bunch of mechs behind those buildings at G7, so we're waiting to see whether they come out or not. And I'm pretty sure there's some mechs behind the Citadel as well. That Banshee is pretty tall, so it exposes itself as a target there. I shot my teammate in the back. I was hoping the mounts would be high enough for me to avoid shooting the Hellbringer, my friendly Hellbringer in the back, but yeah, I couldn't avoid it. I see that Mad Cat there. He might not have noticed me. Now that I'm shooting him, he knows. He should know at least. You gotta be careful of the Fafnir. If it was carrying heavy gauze, it would hurt a lot more than those light gauze that he's running right now. I'm seeing some blips in the back, so we're gonna need to help our Fafnir, our friendly Fafnir. I'm trying to shoot these mechs in the back to give him a little bit of time to escape, and hopefully he does. Just putting some bullets down at Nova Cat. I can't stay here forever. I need to engage up front, so I can't just. I have to leave. Hopefully he stays alive long enough. A lot of buildings here. We can't get clear shots. That Roughneck wasn't angled well enough for us to take good shots, so we're gonna go for this Mad Cat instead. I think the mechs over near the buildings are gone, so we're gonna focus on the rest of the mechs near the Citadel. We got the loadout on a Nova Cat, so he loses a side torso. I know there's mech to the right of me, but I wanted to finish off the Nova Cat first because it was core CT, it's crit CT. So I'm gonna ignore the urban mech right now because I think the cicada is actually more dangerous. And the cicada is also closer to death, so I'm gonna try to kill him first. Last guy. And he dies. Oh, pretty good match. Alright guys, I hope you learned something from this video and found it informative. If you like these videos, make sure to subscribe, or if you don't, just let me know what you want to see in the future. I really recommend the Sun Spider and hope you have the chance to take it out for a spin. Take care and see you next time.